Hi, this is Albert with Mainland Cycle Center, and today we're going to take a look at a 2012 Kawasaki Teryx4 EPS, electronic power steering, and LE luxury edition. The LE model that we're seeing here comes standard with the top, has the alloy wheels, has the color clad doors, so if you notice it has the yellow there on the doors. And then it also has the two-tone seat covers. Motor-wise, all of the Teryx4s are the same. There is a little difference in the shocks, whether it's an LE model or not, or an EPS model, I think. But this one does have the little upgraded shocks with the some adjustment on them for damping. But you've got the alloy wheels with 26-inch tall Maxxis Bighorn tires, a little wider in the back than in the front. You know, the Teryx4s are really it's really a completely new bike. It's really not just the standard Teryx with the extended cage. And if you're familiar with the Teryxes, one of the things you'll notice is that these bars right here are out a few inches more than the regular Teryx. And if you see, this bar comes down and comes right around, all the way around the bottom. The standard two-seat Teryxes have plastic all down there, and that frame rail, or that part of the frame, is set inside. Well, I think they widened that up to try to make the cabin a little more roomier, because we're fitting 4 people in there now. So, but anyway, I like the fact that it's got this frame, this tube, this pipe down there, as opposed to plastic. So for kind of like a Nerf bar built in, you know. Here's your fuel fill. These use a 750cc fuel injected, liquid cooled V-twin motor. One of the things that is new on the Teryx4s compared to the standard Teryxes is your torque. The motor is still mounted right here between the front seats. Kawasaki did move the air intake. The older Teryxes, the air intake was right up here, a two-seat Teryx. The air intake now is up underneath this hood. We'll tilt that in a minute and show it to you. But the torque converter on these, Kawasaki added a centrifugal clutch to them. So now when you come to a stop, rather than the torque converter disengaging the belt, now that centrifugal clutch breaks that link there. So it keeps that belt engaged all the time, so it's going to give you longer belt life. And so that's what that's about. Of course, you can see our LE model has the two-tone seat covers. Everybody that has sat in these just loves these seats. They really wrap around you nice. They're very soft. They're very comfortable. The high back seats look great. Another thing they did is added the little shock absorbers here on the seat belts. That kind of keeps those from cutting into your arm. Got a nice grab handle here for the rear seat passengers. Also have drink holders here for the rear seat passengers, and a 12-volt power outlet, as well as a couple of cuppy holes there. These are quite roomy in the back. I had some big guys sitting in the back of these, and absolutely no problem with being comfortable back there. So very, very nice. One of the things that you'll notice when we talk about those rear seats on these is that Kawasaki set those rear seats in a little bit from the front seats. So you can see they're set in from the front seats. They're also elevated a little bit. So they really thought about the experience of riding in the back of this Teryx. So you see your hard top right up there. Comes standard on the LE model. The hood opens. It's got a couple latches. I already had them undone. But here's your air box now. So nice and high up front. There's less dust up high. Fuse boxes are here, so high and dry. The battery is now underneath here. You can see your adjustable shocks, adjustment there for dampening, and then another adjustment here for dampening. There, disc brakes, stainless braided brake lines. Here's your power steering motor there. It's an electronic power steering. Master cylinder, coolant reservoir, radiator with cooling fan. So just maintenance, for maintenance and cleaning, this hood opens, makes it a lot easier to access a lot of that stuff. Let's take a look in here at some of the controls. First of all, we've got a shifter here. We've got low, high, neutral, and reverse. Just move your shifter through the gate. Park and brake is now here. The older Teryx had a foot park and brake. They also added this grab handle that's for this passenger to hold on to. And then there's this 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and then to lock the front differential. You know, ever since the Teryxes were introduced, Kawasaki has worked on reducing the amount of heat in the cabin on these, and they have steadily done a good job on it. But one of the things they did on these Teryx4s is they literally have an electric fan that blows some of that heat out of this area under this cover to get some of that heat out. So there's a little light here and it says blower fan. Some of you guys are going to notice, and this is, if there's a problem with that circuit, this light will turn on to let you know there's a problem with that circuit and that fan's not working. So that's what that's about, just to reduce the heat, make it more comfortable in here. So you got your ignition switch here, we'll turn that on, and your instrumentation, hopefully we can see that pretty good, but it's got a little two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, tells you if you're in two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, fuel gauge, speedometer, clock, odometer. One of these buttons is mode, so it's trip meter A, trip meter B, and then back to the odometer. And again, these are fuel injected, so they just cranks right up. That's real nice. It's much quieter inside the cabin now with the air intake under the hood. That was one of the things I really like about what they did here with this. A little glove box there. Here's your headlights, off, low beam and high beam with that switch right there. Sports style steering wheel. I've got another little cubby hole there. One thing I want to show you is these seats have a little bit of adjustment in them. They're not a quick adjust, but you can loosen the bolt and you can bolt it here to scoot it back, or bolt it here to move it forward. So you can move it 1.5 inches or so from where it's currently at. Okay. These are fully independent suspension, front and rear. You've got a 2-inch receiver on the back. One of the things that's nice about the Teryx4s and all the Teryxes and even our brute forces is the multi-disc wet rear brake. And so what that means is that when we look at this rear end, there's no brake inside this wheel. There's no brake inside this wheel. The brake is on the drive shaft coming back. And that brake is built into this housing with these rear end gears. And so it's a wet rear brake because it rides in that same oil bath as those brakes, as those gears. It's multi-disc because that keeps it small in diameter, so you don't have a brake hanging down to kill the ground clearance. So it's multi-disc, which keeps it small in diameter but gives it a lot of surface area. And I tell you, we've been using these brakes now for 10 years since the Brute Force 650s came out, and they're just fantastic. You'll probably never replace those rear brakes, and they stay clean and they work good and they work all the time, so it's really good. Stainless steel muffler, again remote reservoirs on the shocks back here. And you got some adjustments on those, dampening, and right here dampening. Nice easy. LED rear tail lights. Nice size bed, will hold a cooler. You know, face it, most folks who buy this are not going to be doing a lot of farm work and that kind of thing, but they're going to be riding recreationally, and so this will hold a good amount of gear for that day out on the trail and that kind of thing. Rated at 250 pounds in the bed. I love the yellow. It's nice and bright, very eye-catching. It's the first yellow one that we've gotten. That's why we're doing a video on it. But I'm sure there's something that I'm forgetting. You can mount a winch in the front on these. The Kawasaki's already got a lot of nice accessories for these available. And just lots of good stuff. Really an all-new Teryx. So if you're really thinking this is just the old Teryx with stretched, it's really not. It's really kind of all new. So I'd urge you, come by and take a look at one. Come by and take a ride on one. We'd be happy to pull one out. Let you take a ride on it. Well, there you have it. That's the 2012 Teryx4 LE in the yellow. All right. We are Mainland Cycle Center, and we're located about 30 minutes south of downtown Houston, just off of I-45 in LaMarque, Texas. Our website is mainlandcyclecenter.com. Our phone number is 409-948-4969. Give us a call, shoot us an email, come by and see us. We'd love to help any way we can. That's why we're here. Hey, thanks for watching.